So many times the summers, I would hear him like coaching agents, and I would hear what these agents were doing. So I just had such exposure to what it was like to sell real estate at such a high level, building the mindset, building the skills, just building these foundational things from a really young age, that I really believe it's part of what created me to be what I am. It's I didn't know that there was an option to sell real estate not in high volume. I just didn't know that was an option. I
So,
didn't know people did that.
so as a kid, 17, 18, 19 years old,
Mhm.
your dad was closing how many deals a year with his, I don't know, did he have a team or did he do this by himself at the time?
Um, no, my dad sold in high volume. I'm trying to remember when he came to coach for Mike. Maybe when I was like 10, 12 years old.
Well,
Closed it,
I
had,
started in 95, 96 with Mike coaching. And so he was just right after that.
okay, yeah. So probably about the time I was 10. And so he was closing about 200 homes a year, 175, 200 a year. And then he started coaching for Mike, and then he went full time with Mike and really didn't sell real estate. Um, and then he came back and kind of more started his team and coaching after I got into the business. So for a lot of my teen years, though, he was just coaching. So I had all the exposure to him coaching for Mike and Mike's clients and that side of things.
Wow, fantastic. Uh, so you were exposed to a couple hundred deals a year, though, people doing it, your dad doing it actually.
Yeah.
So it was normal pretty quickly, right?
Yeah, it was. I wouldn't say that didn't make some things easier, but the mindset to accept what it took to be successful was there. But it didn't mean things came any faster.
No, 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 no.
I
Clearly,
wish.
I understand. So right now, what does your company look like, your organization? How many
Um,
people, how many transactions?
yeah, so we have 25 agents on our team that are all full time. It's a requirement to be here to be full time. We're on track to sell our goal is 540 homes this year. And we have my husband runs operations. I have a sales manager, and then we have 3 full-time staff. And then each staff person has their own VA helping them. And then we actually just launched an ISA department. So we have 2 ISAs, but I mean, that's maybe 2 months old. So it's brand new. It's a baby.
Got it. Perfect. Excellent. And I heard that you have a little one on the way.
I do. I have our 4th child on the way right now. So I'm about 17, 18 weeks pregnant. It's due towards Thanksgiving, so somewhere around there. And then I have 3 older girls as well, so it'll be fun.
So you have a big house, big responsibilities, selling 500 properties is a ton of real estate. So in Oklahoma, how much money is that gross?
Gross to the company, this is after like our agents have been paid, doesn't take into staffing and everything. That's 1.9 to the company after agents are paid.
Okay, so something around 3 or 4 million.
Yeah, total that would be probably about 4 million total.
Yeah, you're probably keeping 50%,
Yeah, we're
something
keeping
like
about
that.
50%.
Yeah, yeah, good for you. Congratulations. Okay, so you started the business, you started in the business. You had people that could help teach you and keep you in the game, but they didn't give you deals, did they?
No, that
No.
was one of the things when I started selling real estate. I told my dad, I said, don't want you to give me anything. Just teach me how to find it, mentor me, like show me what to do. So my dad coached me the first year I was in the business. Um, and then after that, we knew it was going to be a detriment to our relationship if he kept coaching me. So I got my own Mike Ferry coach at that point. Um, there comes a point where father-daughter relationships kind of have a little bit of end to the business side, and they can just be father-daughter. Uh,
Uh-huh.
but he did a great job mentoring me and just teaching me how to find it myself and build that up. And then that's continued. And heck, even when my dad got back into doing some real estate, he even competed against me on some stuff. So we had a whole saying of whoever gets a contract signed first gets it. Until then, it's fair game.
Until then, it's fair game.
Fair
Good for you
game.
guys. Good for you guys. Okay, so your your job now is to take what you've learned and teach others to do it at a high level, correct?
Right.
What's the average agent in your office? How many deals are they doing now?
So end of last year, our per agent productivity was running at 33 deals per person. Our goal this year is to get that to 35.
Not including anything you do.
Correct. That's not in any numbers I give. I mean, I'll only probably close 25 properties myself this year. Any numbers I give, I don't count anything that I do in that. And we have a few people that just that are on our independent side here, and I don't count anything that they do in that. That's strictly our team.
Oh, interesting. Okay, got it. So, so, but part of the 500 is the independent people also?
No, that's strictly the team.
Okay, understand. So they're running, you're at 33 transactions on average. What? So walk me through the beginning for an agent coming to you and saying, okay, I'm not worried about anybody leaving right now because you guys are all in California and she's in Oklahoma and she's in a rainstorm. So you're not going anywhere. I get this. But walk us through you bringing somebody on board and what your expectations are and how you believe they're going to make it. Wait, before I do this, if I wanted to choose another company other than your father's in your town, is there another company that is doing what you're doing so I have an option to go to work for them and do the same thing? Is there that much business in Oklahoma?
There is a lot of business in Oklahoma City. I mean, we're a city of just over 1 million people just in our city, not counting suburbs. So Oklahoma City is a lot bigger city than people think that it is. I mean, we have an NBA team, so we're not like super tiny.
Yeah,
But
what kind of team?
we have an NBA team, so I mean, we're not
Woo! All
like so
right.
small. So we're bigger than people think we are. There are other teams, so I think it really depends on what people are looking for. If they're just looking for leads, there are other teams that provide that. But as far as everything that we provide, we have figured out how to offer more than what our competition does. So there's really no other company that provides to the extent of what we do.
So minimum standard in your company to stay on the team is what?
Minimum standard to stay in on the team is 24 deals a year after your first full year. So your first year it's 15, and then moving forward it's 24 to stay on the team. We give you 90 days to get started. So we're looking for, in your first 90 days, one deal, and then that works its way up. So we give some grace and runway for that. But we do have a lot of minimum standards. We do have very high accountability. So it's not for everybody. And I'm really picky about who we bring here. And I'm okay with that.
Right. And everybody else is okay with it because they're surrounded by eagles instead of ducks.
Right.
Yeah, good. Okay, so walk us through what a new agent would do in your company. And first of all, are they brand new or are they used from other companies?
I would say we're about 70% new, 30% used, 30% transferees.
Okay.
And I have found with what we teach that usually our most successful people that come here are new people or agents who have been somewhere else and not been highly successful. They see the holes of what's missing. Um, and so that's usually who our kind of avatar agent is. But when you join here, there's a 2-week onboarding process that we go through to teach you all the foundational items. And that's really your 2-week interview process with me as well, because if you can't show up and do everything we asked during that time, you're not moving on. And then
And you're the sales manager, right?
I'm not. Jim is our sales manager. So he does the interviewing and the hiring, and then we review everybody.
Okay.
And so I'm looking for very certain kinds of people, but I also am looking for, I jokingly call it, even though I don't drink beer, I call it the beer test. I don't want to bring people into the company that I wouldn't have a beer with. So I want to be surrounded by positive people that I love to be with and, love to come to work with. So I'm looking for that. But I'm really looking for high coachability, high energy, willingness to be held accountable. So we have a contact standard per day and per week. We have lead standards of how our leads are to be worked. We have standards to learn our scripts and what that looks like. We have full staff that support our agents. So once a property does go under contract, they take over everything for them. But we have very high accountability. There's an expectation you're at 80% of our training meetings. Otherwise, you're not going to be on leads. You're to show up to your one-on-ones prepared. So we do have very high standards for what it looks like. I mean, just like we've been trained with Mike Ferry, that's exactly what we do with our agents. And you've got to generate every day to continue to stay a part of this team.
So if you're not generating, you're not going to get a lead.
No.
So it's kind of a catch-22. We'll give you a lead, but that's not how you're going to eat forever.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. I like that. All right. So what's the 2 weeks look like? I mean, is it previewing? Is it scripts and dialogues? Writing contracts? What is it? What does it look like?
So during your first 2 weeks, we take you through teaching you all of our technology, scripts and dialogues. We teach you contracts, scheduling, goal setting, showing property buyer presentations. We teach you the flow of a transaction and how that works. Our title company comes in and teaches them the title side. Our lender comes in, teaches them the lending side. So really we do a day as well on mindset. So the first 2 weeks I consider the foundation of I couldn't possibly give you everything you need to know, but you could come out of that and make a phone call and go show a house and work your way through a contract.
Got it.
At the end of
Okay.
that. That's the goal.
And amongst that, how about previewing property? Do you send them out doing any of that?
That's a part of their first 90 days. So they have so many properties per day that they're supposed to preview. And we set it up in different parts of the city, different price ranges, new construction, builders. We have them really previewing a lot of different things through their 90 days.
So Brianna, if you suggest to somebody that they preview 5 houses a day, 5 days a week, and is that more than you would ask or less?
That is what I ask. Is that what they always do? No, but that's the minimum standard of what I ask.
Oh, okay. So what do you do then? I mean, I ask that all the time, and I can't tell you some of the stories I get, but I don't have to tell you, they give them to you too, right?
It's amazing, and I think that's when one surprising thing coming into this role is, I think part of what made me a successful real estate agent so quickly was just the blind faith. Like if my coach, my dad, Mike told me to do something, I just did it because I knew they were coaching people doing it and they were being successful. And people come in here all the time like, oh, I'm just dying to sell a house or whatever it is. And then you tell them to do something that makes them slightly uncomfortable and they're just like, oh, I don't want to preview property. What? What's wrong with previewing property? It's just like a mock showing. Take a new agent with you and you practice showing them a house, and the next house have them practice showing you the house and practice getting your buyer broker agreement signed. It was like, it's practice. And so I think that has been really surprising of just, I think it's a lot of what causes agents to not take off in their businesses as fast or as consistent as they can because they're just resistant to things that they're uncomfortable with. So yeah, it's amazing to me.
Yeah, well, especially somebody like yourself that's already done all of it at a really, really high level. What was your top year in terms of your production?
My own personal production, my top year was 210 deals.
Awesome. Fantastic. Good stuff. Okay. First of all, before we go further, questions for Brianne before we move into some other questions. Questions. Raise your hand, jump in, ask the question. Alfie, go ahead.
Hmm. Brianne, how you
Hi,
doing?
Elsie.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right. So, what do you do, or how do you handle the ones that are not meeting the minimum standard? Do you give them a verbal first? Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, so the great thing is I don't do it anymore. And so I found somebody that's a little nicer than me because I'm a driver and I was just too like so yes, I mean, they're very clear on what the standards are. So let's just say that Monday they didn't make their call minimum. So our sales manager is just going to reach out and say, "Hey, noticed yesterday your calls were really down. What's going on?" Okay, great. Let's get them up. And then if they get right back up, they're good. If it doesn't, then they're off leads. And Jim will have there's one-on-one with them and say, look, this is the minimum standards. This is what it is. You got to meet these standards to be on the team. Do you want to be here? Do we, you need help? Like what's going on? We try to give an empowerment, but set the expectations. The second meeting is, look, you're not going to get another warning. The next meeting we have like this, you're gone. And then if we have to call them in a third time, they're gone. But a lot of times before it gets to that third conversation, which could be 3 weeks in a row, they have eliminated themselves because they know they're not going to do it. So I think it's
Right.
just, if you say you have standards, and sometimes this is the hard part, guys, especially if you're running teams. If you say you have standards, you get to like some of these people. You get some really nice, great people in your office, and you hear sometimes just crazy things in their lives that are going on. And obviously, I think you've got to look at things some case by case basis. But overall, I think people are really looking to your integrity of, am I going to truly uphold what I say I'm going to uphold?
Yeah.
And I think that becomes a real key to run a successful team or company is people have really got to be able to look and see like you're upholding what you've said. And so
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure you have what you need. I'm going to be there to support you, but with high support comes high accountability.
Yeah. Yeah. So if let's say the accountability is there and they are doing the calls, the contacts, but the skill's not there to where they didn't meet, let's say the one deal in the 90 days, are you giving them grace period?
We give a little bit of grace. Again, I think we look at that very case by case. Our market's just now starting to shift, so we've been a little more gracious to our agents here. So I think if we really see that they're showing up to everything, they're really committed, they really are getting there. Because here's the thing I see: if you've really done everything I've asked, I'm going to be able to look at your pipeline and seeing you're right at the cusp of someone coming together. It may have not fallen right at your 90 days, but you're right there. If we've gotten to the 90 days and your pipeline's still not full, we're probably not even having a conversation about you staying here. So yes, I do think there's some grace in certain
Yeah.
standards, but overall you've got to uphold what you say you're going to uphold.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Great questions, Alfie. Thank you. Love it, Brianne. Appreciate it. Any other questions for Brianne right now as we move along?
Yeah,
Go ahead. Yeah,
yeah,
Juan, go ahead.
yes. Hi, Brent.
Hi, Juan.
Hey, do you have some kind of schedule for your agents that they follow through the day, something to manage the time and the activities?
I teach them a schedule. I mean, they're obviously still independent contractors, so I can't really dictate the schedule. But I do teach them the Mike Ferry schedule I followed about, practicing first thing, prospecting in the morning, having, your admin time after prospecting, and then appointments and previewing your prospecting in the afternoon. So I kind of teach them the flow of their days, and help them build a schedule and help them follow it. So, I mean, that's what we do. But again, their schedules all look a little bit different than what mine did.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, good stuff. Good question, Juan. Thank you. We had a question from Eric. What's your best lead source for your agents?
Um,
Or maybe it's the best lead source the company has right now.
it's becoming our website, and I'm hesitating in how I'm answering this a little bit because we're the top Google rated company in the state. And so Everything we do is driving people to our Google reviews, which then drives them to our website. So, I mean, we have some TV, we have social media, we have radio, we have other things that are driving people to Google and our website. So our Google local service and website has become our top lead source over time because of that intentionality. But we try to be very careful to make sure no lead source is more than 25% of our business.
Okay, smart. Good. So you guys are really paying attention to the numbers.
We're paying attention. I mean, I'm a driver, so I like to be able to go to one spot and look at what's going on in that company. And so my husband running our operations, he's analytical. So he has helped me create reports for every part of the company. So I can look at every Monday what's going on in every area. And so we're constantly able to adjust the health of the organization and whatever's going on. So we run this very much like a business.
Very much so. Absolutely. Good stuff. So Axel asked Brianne, what's the average price point for the organization?
We are at 330,000.
$330,000 sales price.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys run into clients that want to cut commissions? You don't have that in Oklahoma, right?
No, we definitely haven't. It's just no can be a sentence.
People
No, well,
ask.
but also to answer that question too, is, we teach our agents how to handle that. And we actually, a lot of times, because we do deal with some lower price points, we're actually charging more than 3% in a lot of situations. And we don't get a lot of pushback on that, but we did implement a company standard that if you charge less than 2.5%, our split is based off of 2.5%. So if you charge 2, you're not getting 50-50. It would be 50-50 based off 2.5%. So our agents have also learned that that's not fun to take a further haircut on their side either. So we don't deal with it too much.
All right, good.
Not that they don't ask.
No, I understand. I get that. I get that. Who handles the Google account? Do you pay a company or handle it through internally?
No, my husband pays a company or an individual. I don't know his name offhand. But yeah, that's handled by somebody else. We don't handle that.
Got it. Okay, cool. But that's a huge lead source for you right now.
Huge lead source for us.
Excellent. Good stuff. Okay. Other questions for Brianne that I don't see here? Average price point. Do you have a high end in your area?
We do, and that's growing. Believe it or not, our average price point is up over $100,000 in the last 2 years. But
Wow.
we do. So our market over $1 million is growing. So 750,000 usually starts our luxury market here. But we're getting even more and more properties over 2 million. So that's becoming very common here.
So you're getting investors from California, et cetera, buying commercial and apartments and stuff?
That has actually slowed down. We were, according to Realtor.com, we were the top investor flooded market over the last 5 years. And currently we are the fastest market that investors are bailing out of. And that is really due to insurance rates because of weather and natural disasters. And so it's not become real financially feasible with insurance rates for a lot of investors here. So we are seeing a shift in that market for sure.
That's an interesting thing because I, as an investor, am looking to place some money right now, and I don't even think of the insurance. I think of it in California, but I don't necessarily think of it in Tennessee or,
Now, I think we are number 3. I want to say, if I remember right, I think it was Florida, California, and then Oklahoma.
Florida, yeah, California for sure. We burn down communities.
We just have tornadoes take them out. So, we just go.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess
we just make them disappear.
Definitely a little faster.
Yeah, I mean, 30 seconds, it's gone, and
yeah, it's gone.
Nice
It's
and land.
gone. Yeah, absolutely. Well, the fires were and are pretty devastating here. That's been a
Ugh,
real
my
trick.
heart broke for you guys.
Oh my gosh, this was a real mess. Properties that are in Malibu, my wife and I were able to drive through the communities and take a look at some friends' houses and stuff, and I mean, when they say they're gone, they're gone.
That's when we have like EF5 tornadoes. That's what happens here. I mean, literally, sometimes it's even so strong that it will take the slabs up. But I mean, literally, there are
Wow.
only slabs left. I mean, it's thankfully we haven't had one for about 12 years in the city. But when that happens, just the whole community is gone.
Got it. So Alfie, you want to ask your question?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so what's your agent splits and does their experience play into that and units sold and so forth?
Our splits are our splits. So we have a few fees mixed in this, but basically if it's a company provided lead, it's a 50-50. If it's a you generated lead, it's a 70-30 split. We do cap at 18,000 a year, what you pay to the company on you self-generated business. So if you generate expireds or for sale by owners or past clients, that 70-30 business does cap at 18,000. Otherwise, there's no cap on the company business. And then if it's my database, which I have my agents all now do the business, but we still have our ISAs calling. There's a 25% referral fee paid to us on that before the 50-50 split.
Brianna, how big is your database before you stopped working it and building it?
About 2,500 people.
Got it. And
So it creates about 150 deals a year for the company.
that's beautiful. Good for you. Good job. So what would you recommend agents that are, well, let me back up a little bit here. Your market, you said, is changing slightly. Are any of your agents starting to struggle? Are you seeing a little bit of cracking there?
We are, I would say I'm really seeing more of the cracking on our listing team side. I noticed last month our listing appointment to listing taken ratios were down. And I'm being nice when I say down. I about had a heart attack when I saw what they were last month. Our agents are having a harder time like knowing how to handle the price reduction conversations. This is the first market most of them have ever seen where we didn't list something and 7 days later have, one or multiple offers on a property. So we're spending a lot of time really helping them understand that sellers need us more now than ever. And the opportunities are greater as this is happening and how to handle those conversations. So we're definitely being very proactive on that. But it is taking some time for their skills and mindset to adjust to what's going on for sure.
So you're working with that, constantly adjusting the scripts, the dialogues, the et cetera.
Exactly.
And well, what would you recommend to our people here on the call that you're recommending to your people to work with that and to work to overcome it?
So are you saying more like to work on with themselves and like the mindset of their agents, or more with the client?
Their mindsets and maybe some strategies and some things that you're implementing. What's 2 or 3 things that we could take away from this and say, okay, I can help get a few more listings or help convert a few more deals or help get the sellers to the finish line a little bit faster or easier?
Yeah, so where my mind goes with our agents first was, okay, what are the opportunities? What makes this a better market? Like, how does this give you more advantages to succeed than what we've seen before? And so I had our agents like actually go through that exercise of why would a seller want to sell? What's going on? And what they saw was how many more expired opportunities there are, how many more for sale by owners are listing with agents. I started just getting them in the exercise of going, what opportunities are out there? And as they see that and they still see how many homes are selling, then all of a sudden that starts to open their mind to, okay, there's still great opportunities. But the whole saying that I think we've all heard is like, what got me here won't get me there. So, okay, so the skills, the strategies, the things that I've done that have gotten me to this point in my career, I'm now going to have to adjust those. And that's going to help me go to the next level. So now we're really working on, okay, once you've got the mindset of understanding the good of why someone would want to sell right now, then you're working on the skill of deeper level pre-qualification. I told our agents, I said, you have to generate more listing opportunities when a market shifts, because a need to seller is probably not a seller you actually have the opportunity to list and actually sell right now. So you've got to generate more so you can walk away from appointments that you shouldn't be going on. You've got to find that motivation. You've got to have the skill of how to have those conversations on helping them know how to price a property and not taking ownership of that. Because I know our agents got in the habit of being like, oh, I think we'll get 300 and then we got 350. They're like, look how amazing I am. You know, now it's the reverse conversation. And so you can't take ownership of those things. So I'm just trying to help them understand the mindset behind it, and then the few specific skills that if they adapt those few things, how much more successful it will help them be.
So do you have any examples or scripts or dialogues or a deal that you've just recently may have helped coach an agent through to help them identify a have to sell versus a want to sell?
Yes. So one of our agents came to me and she was having trouble with these sellers. And she was like, I said, okay, tell me, what's their motivation? And they were wanting to move to a different suburb in our city to be closer to her family because her parents were aging and needed help. So I said, okay. And so I said, how long's the drive right now for them? And she told me. I said, so it's about 20 minutes. And they're saying that they don't want to do this any longer because they're not netting enough money on the sale of their home to be able to buy something out there. And she said, right. I said, so past the parents needing help and wanting to be closer to them, how important is it really that they don't drive 20 minutes, that they drive 5 minutes? She goes, well, I don't know.
So let's ask.
I said, that's where it sounds like they have true motivation. But let's be honest, a 20-minute commute over there, unless it's like a life or death thing for 20 minutes, isn't the end of the world. And so I said, you've got to understand more of like, okay, why do you need to be closer? How important is that? What happens if you can't get closer?
And is that okay with you?
Exactly.
Right. Good.
And I said, and she's like, I don't know the answers to any of that. And so then we worked through why she didn't know the answers to any of that. And, you know, ultimately it came back to, you know, well, I didn't want to lose the appointment. I thought I had a great listing and, you know, she listed it. We got an offer on it and now we have released it because they're not going to sign the offer and not going to do anything. So it was kind of a waste, but, you know, we use that situation to really teach through that.
Good stuff. Excellent. You know, it's a reminder because most agents don't know that they should get the payment and the utilities, and is there a pool company or an etc. And they're spending a couple $1,000s a month holding on to a piece of property that's falling in price. And most agents, certainly that have been in the business only 10 or 15 years, don't know to do that. So I would suspect that's part of the training program that you're putting together or have put together.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Other questions for Brianna? Brianna, what's your superpower?
My husband would tell you it's efficiency.
Okay. And what's his?
His is probably systems and processes. Like he really sees the details of things that I would totally miss.
Or not feel that was important.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm curious. You've been through Matt Ferry's NLP stuff in years back, I would suspect at some level.
Yes.
So, just went through a class of his recently, and I was reminded of away from pain and toward pleasure. So, for you, would you consider yourself away from pain or toward pleasure?
Away from pain.
Away from pain. Okay. You think most people, most agents are that way?
Yes.
Okay. So how do you talk to, or can you, have you had an issue? Do you have anybody on staff that's a toward pleasure person?
Like, how do I talk to them?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just shifting of going, if you're away from pain, you can hit on paying bills and things like that. It's gonna move, or whatever it is. I think it's just when you're moving somebody towards pleasure, you're like, okay, Neil, you do what I'm asking. What does that create for you? What kind of life does that give you? What does that do?
I like it.
And you get them
Exactly.
dreaming and then talking about it like, oh, I get to buy a new car. Well, what kind of car would you buy? What would you do? Where would you live? You start to just get them thinking about what that does. I feel like if you can really get them in that mindset, that's going to move them more towards that pleasure.
Good stuff. So do me a favor, people. Will you, if you're away from pain, put a 1 in the chat box. If you're away from pain, 1 in the chat box. If you're toward pleasure, a 2 in the chat box. I'm just curious. 1 or 2? Come on, come on, come on, come on.
And lots of ones.
Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of 1s, but we have more 2s than I thought too.
Yeah, we've got a few 2s.
Interesting. So would you consider yourself internal or external in the way that you learn? Do you follow what I'm saying there?
When you say internal versus external, like,
So it external, we learn by reading, by watching the newspaper, watching television, talking to a friend. It's coming at us from the outside. Internal, the best example I have there is Mike Ferry. He's the most internal guy I know. Okay. He knows it to be true, even though he couldn't possibly know it to be true.
I would say I'm internal, not external.
Got it. Okay. So you know before anything else. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Good. All right. Okay. Other questions for Brianna today?
Yes, Neil,
Go ahead, Juan.
based on the question you were asking Brian right now, the moving by pain, right, away from pain. I was gonna ask that question, why makes Brian drive through all these years she's been doing business on a high level to keep doing it, to keep moving?
Great question. Great question. Any answer to that, Brianna? Why do you keep doing this?
Well, there's a couple things I'll say. One, I think one thing when you create greatness or you expect greatness out of yourself, that doesn't just stop. And so it's one of those things where if I wasn't still pursuing greatness in my life, then I wouldn't be okay with it. I would say I still have goals that excite me. But I can say, I'll be doing this 20 years in September. And, my schedule has shifted some. I've realized like, okay, I can be highly efficient. I don't work the same hours I used to. But I don't also have to be the person that's doing everything to make me successful. So I'm learning to be a better leader. I'm learning to empower other people to come in and fill the roles of things I don't love to do, that I'm not as good at. And so I feel like the longer you do it, you're finding out more and more of what you love and what you're good at. And that's what hits my calendar. That and my spouse and my kids, that hits my calendar. And if it's not those things, then I'm looking at, okay, who should be handling this? And so what I'm excited about is the next 20 years, I think I can build something even bigger than what I have the first 20 years. But my first 20 years, I feel like I just about killed myself to do it. And the next 20 years, I think I can do it with so much more enjoyment and having so much more fun doing it. So I just think always having those goals and always those things that drive you, just a difference, and sometimes the time and energy shift. And I
Thank
want to be an
you.
example to my kids too.
So will say that your first 20 years you were doing it for you wanted to get away from pain, and now it's more like you're going towards pleasure?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, my first 20 years, I went through, being married, single income, putting my ex-husband through medical school, to being a single mom, to then totally rebuilding my, financial life. So yes, there is still an away from pain aspect I go towards, but the pain now isn't not paying the bills. To me, the pain is not achieving my goals and not living up to my full potential. That's the pain. So I think in return that creates more pleasure. But yeah, the pain is not, at the end of the day, like when I stand before the Lord, to be like, I did not live up to my full potential of what you put me here to do. That's the pain I'm staying away from.
Thank you.
Great. Great answer. Thanks. Good question, Juan. Thank you. Alfie, go ahead.
Brianna, are you doing any investments now? And if so, are you integrating that with the sales process, or is that completely separate if you are?
Yeah, that's completely separate. We've started a lot of other businesses and income streams under, the team, where my husband's really over that. We're in process of finding somebody that will replace him in ops, and so he'll be fully in running our investments and other companies and things. So we are still investing. We're getting a lot of wholesale opportunities right now that we're doing. We're buying, properties and things as it makes sense to purchase. But yeah, I mean, I'm only 30, almost 38. Yeah. So I'm still in full blown, like my passive income is nowhere near me retiring. So we got a long ways to go on that front. Okay, I
Good.
could retire, but I wouldn't have the life that I wanted to have. Is that
Right.
fair?
Yeah. Thank
Good.
you.
All right, great. Tess, question.
So, first of all,
You-
thank you.
Tess, you're going to have to speak
Tess.
up a little bit or
I
turn
can't
it
hear
down.
you real well.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk a little louder, okay?
No,
You
no,
mentioned
something's wrong, Tess.
You can't
Can
hear
you
me?
type your question, Tess?
Okay, sure. Okay, it's gonna take a while, so maybe you might
All right, do we have another question while Tess is typing? Come on, let's go. Come on, you guys.
Are most of the people here on this call, are they building teams?
No,
Okay.
no.
Have most of you
Why, do
done
you
this
have
for
a
a long-
recommendation? You have team recommendations?
Have most of you guys been doing this pretty long?
We have a good cross section here. We have some
Okay.
people who've been doing it for a long, long time. And then we have people that are fairly new.
I have a question.
Go ahead, David.
Hey, hi, Brianne. I wanted to know at your career did you become a broker, and what are the biggest differences between just another sales associate and becoming a broker?
Guess I don't fully understand the question. Sorry.
When did you first become a broker?
2022.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I can help qualify this a little bit, okay?
Mhm.
David, are you thinking that there's a big difference between somebody being a broker slash salesperson and a salesperson slash salesperson? Is there?
Yeah, basically, yeah, that's basically what I'm asking.
There's really not a big difference, at least in California.
Not in our state.
Brianne, do you?
I'm the broker here just simply so we could have a separate location. But I mean, the operating broker is somebody else. So like, I'm not dealing with broker stuff. I just have my broker's license.
Same thing in California. It's you can be, there are many agents that list and sell property all the time that are brokers, but they don't work as broker running a company.
Right.
Right? Okay. David,
Okay. Yeah.
does that help a little bit?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that's where you were going.
Okay, Tessa's question came in, Neil, and it said, it's a question about my schedule, about how I mentioned my schedule changed.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
A
better?
little better. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so my question is, when you said your schedule is different from the schedule before and now, tell me more about that. Is it because you're running a team, or you have more clients calling you? As far as, I understand that with a mic fair, you're always a hunter. You're always on the phone making the call. So what changed? How come you changed your schedule?
I mean, I changed my schedule when I had my first daughter, to be a little bit more present, and just found that when I restricted my availability, my business didn't go down. It just, people met me when I had the time to meet. So again, I think whatever time we allow will fill. So I just learned, hey, I'm still going to do this amount of business, and I adjusted my schedule. My schedule now is a lot different because I'm not personally producing. I'm not personally prospecting. I'm building and running companies, and that's my passion. But that's been a huge process to go through because it's an identity shift. I mean, my identity was I sold 150, 200 homes a year. That was my identity. And so that has taken a lot of adjusting. But man, I'll tell you guys, if you're not running a team, or a brokerage, keep selling houses. It's easier. It's so much easier.
For sure.
It is easier. Hear me when I say that.
It's
So,
easier, and I'm going to say usually more profitable.
yes. So yes, now running a team does allow me to end my days earlier, be present when picking my kids up from school and some more things like that. But the intensity of my days when I'm working is way more intense. I mean, I look up and I'm like, it's 2:45, and I'm like, I haven't breathed since I sat down at my desk at 7:45. So it's just a little bit different in how my days look.
Got it, got it. All right, thank you.
Perfect. Excellent. So the question came in, what prospecting has been successful for the agents other than website and Google?
I mean, so we provide a ton of lead sources
So
here.
those are things you purchase.
Yes, I mean, we have some we purchase, we have some we pay referral fees. I mean, so yes, we have a lot of lead sources. So if our agents are here, what we've found is usually different agents are good at 2 or 3 of the lead sources. So we kind of adjust the lead sources to the agents of what they're good with and what they're not. But we also really teach. I mean, we provide about 30 leads a month. Some months we have higher volume and it's a little bit more than that. But I still teach our agents to go out and call expireds for self owners, just listed, just sold, for rent by owners, past client, centers of influence. So I would say for a lot of our agents that have been here very long, past client, centers of influence is becoming their number one. But then they obviously have other sources from us. But one thing I've learned with team people, when you do provide them leads, and they do have business that they can pay their bills and achieve their goals with, the desire to generate a lot of their own business is not very high. So that has been a frustration I don't understand, but it's usually our company leads that they're really selling, to be honest.
Why do you have any speculation as to why that is? Why don't they, when they figure out how to generate business or catch a fish, they don't go down that street, instead of they take the easy route or easier route?
I'm just going to say it's really more of a reflection of the generation or our society of easy button. What's the easy option? What's the easy whatever? And so, finding many agents that are willing to get on the phones and put in the hard work of finding that business every day, I feel like is harder and harder to find. I love it when I can find it, but it's easier, and that's what people are going towards. And yeah, I wish I had an answer for it, but I'm just like, they don't want to do the hard stuff that
It's
so
very
many of
sad.
us have done to become great agents over the years.
Yeah, very, very sad.
It is.
Yeah, it's an art that's going to be lost at some point. And maybe from AI, the things that this AI thing can do is just amazing. I mean, I've never been a writer or a speller, and all of a sudden I'm kind of a writer and kind of a speller. It's like, wow, where did that come from?
Right.
Yeah, pretty amazing. All right, unmute yourselves. Unmute yourselves. Let's give Brianna a big hand. Woo! All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
That was great. Brianne, thank you, thank you,
you.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
We're going to go around the room now. You're welcome to stay. If you have a hard stop, we get it. And just kind of ask agents, what did they learn? What did they get out of this? So, uh,
Neil, can I ask I think it's a very important question to Brian since she's still here. One
yes,
more
of
question.
course.
Yeah,
If I said no, would it matter?
no.
They're like an
Brian,
agent coming to my door and be like, can I ask a question? And before I can answer, they're asking the question. I'm like, well, I guess so.
Knock yourself out.
you mentioned about identity shifts, and I wanted to ask you, how do you go through that process? Because you've been a great top producer, and then all of a sudden you're doing this right for the team and the company. But I wanted to see what method or what is it that you're using in your mind to change that in yourself. You've been doing for so long, and the reason is this: if I look at it myself, right? For so long, I've been doing certain things in certain way, and it's only got me to a certain place, and I always feel like I hit that place, and it's because of the way I see myself all the time. How can I shift that? Thinking about what you just say, your identity start
Yeah,
breaking those.
that's a great question. And the only thing I can answer is for me. And so in 2020, I sold and closed and pended 210 deals by myself. And I totally maxed myself out. Like I honestly, it had been a goal of mine for so long that was like what I was pushing for. And I realized at the end of that year, I have literally reached the pinnacle of what I can personally do. I cannot achieve any more than this. This is the max I can give. And also simultaneously going, my family got the absolute worst of me. I was a terrible mom. I was short with my kids. I was short with my spouse. And that really became where I sat down with my husband. I was like, okay, I know I'm always going to want to do more. I know I'm driven. What does that look like? And so we just started talking through it and praying about it. And that was where really the team came in and was introduced to us. And I was like, well, I'm really passionate about helping other people grow, and I can help more families that way. And so I think with the identity shift, you choose to make it, it has to really be aligned with the goals. And part of making the identity shift that I did, I knew for a season I was going to take an income hit to be able to build up what we've done to then take off. And so I think every time I've struggled with it and I've talked to Mike or talked to my coach, it's like, okay, why are you doing what you're doing? Is it moving you closer to your goals or farther away? Because you have to be willing to reinvent yourself to continue to grow and become the best version. So it's just, I've had to reinvent myself to be the version that I am today. And going, I'm still achieving goals. I'm doing bigger things than I've ever done before. Yeah, I'm working a lot, but I'm also still way more present in my kids' lives. And I don't feel like they get the short version of me. And I'm just living overall like a happier, greater life. So I think when it really aligns with the goals, that's when it happens.
Amazing.
Brianne, congratulations. Great answer. Thank you. Alfie, did you have a
Thank you.
No, I was just saying that was amazing. That how you reinvented
Yeah.
yourself. That was truly
Yeah,
awesome.
really,
Thanks,
really
Brian.
fantastic.
Do you have a business coach, by the way?
Yeah.
Since you're
I still work with Tony Smith.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I work with Tony.
Great guy. Amazing guy.
I mean, I also have other coaches in my life, so I have like nutrition and fitness coach, and we have a financial. So, I mean, as different things have grown, we have different, just like we've always been taught, you have different coaches in different
Yeah.
areas. So,
Love it.
yeah, never stop. Probably more coaches now
Love
than
it.
I've had in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Brian. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Brianna,
All right, well,
again.
thank you guys for having me. I've got to run.
Amazing. Woo! All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Good work. Good work. Thanks. Appreciate it. Be safe. Have a great 4th. All right. What we learned today?
You know, Neil, I think the part that I taken is, to me, that's the definition of a person being humble, her willingness to adapt to the changes, so to the arranges her priorities and see what was important for her, right? But not be stuck, even being so successful, and not be stuck in that identity that she created herself, and being able to change it and to create something else, something new.
Look at it. This is a young lady who drives herself and prides herself on that she drives herself and that she can be efficient. She does 210 deals. She looks around and she's the worst wife for her husband. She's the worst mom for her kids. She probably doesn't like herself all that much.
That's the
and-
beauty right there. That's
Yeah.
the beauty, because she recognized it. That's the humble part that I see.
Exactly.
You know, when she see, because a lot of people will justify it and cover with the other stuff. Oh, I did this, but
And look how much money I made and blah, blah, blah. And now I can go on a vacation that I can't take. I can afford to take it, but I can't go. Oh, great. Good. What else did we learn today?
Well, I love the fact that she's very, coachable, right? And the fact that she is a driver in her personality, but knows the details of her business. So
Yeah,
I thought that was great.
so. Very much so. And they, her and her husband know what they're really good at, and they stay in their lanes.
In their lane. Yeah.
Yeah, they really do. Good stuff.
Amazing.
All right. What else do we learn?
Question, Neil, this is Jen. So, being with, her dad and trained by Mike Ferry, don't you think that because she was young when she started this, and I sometimes I see myself like that, because we've been with Mike Ferry for a long time. Mike Ferry is such a driver, and so I would think that she was trained by her dad, so her personality is totally a driver. But I can also see in her being amiable, you know. This is just me, meaning that she is going towards contribution, helping family, right? I don't know. I see her not really a total driver. That's how it is. And in essence, my comment to that is, at the end of the day, if you're very, very successful, you understand that family is very important. And she understood that, and that's great.
Yeah. No, for sure. And that's kind of what I think Alfie and Juan were saying, is that she's humble enough to realize what she needs to do, and then takes action on doing it, and then teaches the agents,
Right?
does the best she can with it. I think it's very cool. It's a completely different view of what we tend to do in terms of the mastermind calls every week. But I think it was important to see somebody that's been driven and she didn't burn herself out. She reinvented herself.
Yeah.
And now is doing that kind of a thing. And I get it, she reaches out all the time and checks in with me and checks in with other people that I refer her to. Very curious, it's interesting because she says she's internal, but she sure asks a lot of questions.
I think she wasn't very clear on that answer, if I may say that. Maybe there's some externality there. No.
Maybe, and maybe that's part of her versatility. Because she can, I would suspect what maybe she refers to is that she accepts information, distills it down in her brain, comes up with her version of the answer, and then goes after it.
Yeah.
And that's all done fairly quickly. where other people might take a long time to decide, she decides very quickly because she prides herself on efficiency. And efficiency means you have to take action and get into it and get things done. And you know, it's very, very, very exciting. You know, clearly she's faith-based. I know her dad. I think I forgot to ask her. She's going for 4 children right now. I want to tell you, her father and mother had 8 children. Alfie, does that sound right?
I thought it was more like 10 or 12. I mean, they have a lot of children.
It could be. I should have asked her. I forgot to ask.
Yeah.
Good
That
stuff. All
explains
right.
what her father was working so hard.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. What else? What else did we learn today? How about some people that haven't talked? You know, Mitha or Carolyn or Sylvia, Yvonne. Hello, 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 hello. Marco, haven't heard from you. Did you learn anything today?
Yeah, I learned a lot. So the one thing that caught my eye or my ear was that she said, when you create greatness or expect greatness, you just can't stop. You keep going.
Great thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it. Thank you for that.
Thank
you
you.
for sharing that. Good. What else do we?
It was said before, but definitely no ego there. I mean, for a person that she was doing 215 deals, no ego.
Well,
It's like natural.
remember, yeah. Well, I think we all have a little bit of ego in there, but she was raised with a father that did that kind of volume, and with all these Mike Ferry people that do that kind of volume all the time. She hangs out with those kinds of people. So 200 deals is kind of normal for her. Does that make sense? So it's hard for her to have ego, a crazy ego, when you're amongst those kind of people.
But
I think.
Neil, the challenging that I see she's having, and you can see on her face, her expression, is when she was talking about her agents, why do they stop in a certain level that she doesn't get it? Because she's totally moves differently. Yeah.
Well, it's my question every week.
Yeah.
For the people that I coach and that I work with. I'm always asking agents, are you independently wealthy? Do you have more money than I think you have? They say, why?
Yeah, I think she also mentioned about aligning your goals with your actions, right? So her answer may not fall into the laps of, some of us here, but what is your goal and what actions needs to be taken based on a goal and align ourselves? I thought that was really important. That was a great answer.
100%. And without action, you can't achieve your goals.
That's it.
So, because that's a lot of things that people do. They don't take action, and then they don't understand why they don't make money or they don't have money. And it's very frustrating. But it's interesting because she's sitting in my seat now. She was a top producer sitting in all of your seats, and she made money. Now she's sitting in my seat where only way I make money is by helping you make money. Get it?
Yep.
And that's a very frustrating place to be. Very frustrating.
So about asking you, Neil, how did you change your identity from being a top producer yourself and then transitioning to now you're helping, and going through all that in the beginning?
Thanks, Alfie. Appreciate the question. But I was never a super duper top producer. My thing was to help top producers go to another level and work with them instead of telling them what to do, coaching them to what to do. It's kind of like I study these coaches that build these teams. It was originally, and think about this. How do you coach Kobe, James, Kareem, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Pat Riley had all these guys, right? How does Pat Riley coach them? Pat Riley was a good player, but he was never an amazing player. Okay. How do people coach them? How can I help Brianne? And yet Brianne and her husband call me and say, well, how do you do this? Because they're open to the answers, and then you work through the answers with them. I have real estate agents that don't even ask me. They ask me the question, then I'll give them the idea, and then they'll tell me, well, yeah, but that doesn't work. I did that once. The hell are you giving me that idea for? I did it. No, but Brianne and her husband, they want to know.
Yeah.
Bernie Gallerini and I, when we would walk the superstar retreats every morning early, we would share ideas and different things. This works here and this works here. So, Alfie, that's where that's at. It's who
Thank you.
hang around. It's who you hang around.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
where he's at. We are the accumulation of the 5 people we spend the most time with.
Mhm.
Think about
Yeah.
that. Who do you guys spend your time with? Who do you hang out with? So anyway, I don't have anything else. I don't have the list. Miguel, do you have the list? Who's next?
Miguel is next. Me.
I need the list though. Who's got the list? Who's got the list?
All right, Neil. Thank you so much. You guys have a
All
good
right,
day.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. Was
Yeah.
really
Alfie,
good.
do me a favor. Alfie, do me. Oh, you know what? I got it. Never mind. That's all right. I got it. Sylvia, what'd you learn today?
My brain is like explode.